Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover some example on a priori algorithm. In the previous session we have covered the a priori algorithm and the steps that we are using for finding out that association rules. That all thing we have seen. Now today we are going to cover some more examples on this a priori algorithm. So moving forward, we'll revise first of all the steps that are required for a priori algorithm. Actually, we have seen the pseudocode of this, but now in the wording format, we are going to see what we exactly do when we are going to solve the example on that algorithm. So the very first thing is that you have your data in the database, that transaction, which transaction is having a different type of items that we are going to select with this data in the database. In the second step, we are going to calculate what is the support count, what is the frequency count of that all items. This thing we have to do here in this second step. Means by looking out your transaction data, transaction table, we are going to calculate the support and the frequency of each and every items within it. So here, whenever we are calculating a support and frequency of an item, so what is the thing that is mandatory, that we need to check whatever the support count or a frequency count of that particular item is greater than of our threshold or not. And that thing we are going to check in our next step, that we are going to select only those items which are satisfying the criteria that their support or frequency count should be greater than or equal to the minimum support. Okay, that should be equal or less than the minimum, greater than or equal to the minimum support count. If it is not satisfying, then we are discarding that item. Now here we have assumed that the minimum support count is 2. It is not mandatory, it is always 2, but whatever the count, you have to follow that, and if any item is not satisfying such a thing, then we have to discard such an item from our table. Then next thing, that we have to combine the two item sets. So first of all we are doing it for the one frequent. Okay, next we are doing it for the two frequent. So in combined two item sets, we are calculating the two frequent. For that again we are designing the table and we are calculating its support and frequency of all the items when we are consider the set of two items. According to that set of items, we will find out in our database that what will be the frequency of that two items coming together in the single transaction. And the next thing after that, again we are discard the items with the minimum support. Same thing we are going to repeat it for this two item set. Again we are going to combine the three item sets and will calculate their support count. Likewise we will move onwards. So these are the steps, and after that we have to discard the items which are having the minimum support count less than 3. Means this thing we are going to repeat again for the one frequent, two frequent, three frequent. With that, one more thing is there, that we are going to always check the subset. Means if a particular thing, if we want to say that it is a frequent, then we have to check the subset of that item set. If the subset of that item set is a frequent, then only we can say the particular item set is a frequent. So with this we are also going to check this concept. So now we will see some examples on this a priori algorithm. So very first, this is what our database we are having, and in this database, if you can see here, the 5 transactions are given with the TID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the purchasing behavior is given with each transaction. Then the first transaction purchased the milk, tea and cake. The second transaction purchased the egg, tea, cold drink. Likewise, the third transaction purchased the milk, egg, tea, cold drink. The fourth transaction purchased the eggs and cold drink, and the fifth is only juice. So these are the different transactions are given here with the ID. Now this is what my initial step, that we are having our database and we are having the data in our transaction database. Then the next thing, we have to calculate the support and the frequency of all the items by looking your transaction data. So if I am considering the one frequent, means one item at a time. So how many items are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Color codes are also given here. So milk, how many times the milk occur? 1 and 2. Eggs, 1, 2, 3. How many times tea occurs? 1, 2, 3. How many times cold drinks occur? 1, 2, 3. How many times cake occurs? 1. And how many times juice occur? 1. So in this way we have calculated our support and frequency or a frequency count for each and every item. After that, after the calculation of such a thing, then we are moving toward the step number 3. And what we are finding out in the step number 3, that if any particular item set is not satisfying the minimum support count, then we have to discard that. So the minimum support count is given here, that is 2 in this example. So according to that, we have to calculate this minimum. So looking toward this example, we can find out that milk is having its support count 2, which is greater than a minimum support or equal to minimum support. The eggs is having its support count as a 3, so it is also a greater than 2. Tea is having 3, which is greater than 2. Cold drink is also having support count 3, which is greater than 2. But juice and the cake both are having support count as a 1, which is less than minimum support, and that's why we have discarded this juice and cake, because they are having their support count is less than minimum support, that is 2. So this is what a step number 3 that we have done. Then in the next step, that is step number 4, what we are going to solve over there, we are taking the combination of 2 item sets now. We have done with this 1 frequent, now we are moving towards the 2 frequent, and in this 2 frequent we are finding out the combination of 2 items. So how the combination is formed? Milk with egg, milk with tea, milk with cold drink. Next, you have to consider this table only. After that, the combination will be egg with tea, egg with cold drink, and the next will be tea with cold drink. So these are the combinations that we can form by this item sets, and after that doing this, that is combining of the 2 item sets at a time, in the next step we are going to again find out the frequency count or a support count of this item set. So if we are moving towards the next step, so in this step number 5 we are again calculating the support and the frequency count of all items. So if we are looking that milk and eggs occur how many times combined, so both occurs milk and egg 1 time here. Milk and egg occurs only 1 time here. Next is milk and tea. So if we looking here, milk and tea 1, milk and tea 2. So it occurs 2 times. Next is milk and cold drink. Milk and cold drink, again it occurs once. Next is egg and tea. Eggs, tea, eggs, tea. It occurs 2 times. Next thing, egg and cold drink. Egg and cold drink 1, 2 and 3 times it occurs, and the last one is tea and cold drink, it also occurs twice. So this, in this way we have again calculated the support count or frequency count of this 2 frequent items, and again in the next step we are going to discard the items which are not satisfying the minimum support count. Here we are assuming that the minimum support count is given as a 2. So I am just checking over here in this table that who are going to satisfy this minimum support, means the support count should be greater than or equal to this minimum support, that is 2. So this milk and eggs is having support count 1, which is less than minimum support, and milk and cold drink is again having the support count less than 1, less than minimum support, that is 1. So we have to discard this 2 and the rest of will have it is equal to or greater than the minimum support. So we have selected such items from here. Again, if we are taking the 3 frequent now, so in the next step if we are taking the 3 frequent over here, so we can see that in the 3 frequent we are taking the combination of different things. So here you can take the combination that milk, tea and eggs, then you can take the combination of eggs, cold drink and tea likewise. So if we are taking such a combinations of milk, tea, cold drink, eggs, tea, cold drink likewise, so in that case you have to choose only those that will again having the support count. But while doing this, we have to keep in mind that if we are selecting an item, then its subset should be a frequent. If I am saying this should be a frequent, then its subset should be a frequent. For example, if I am considering the egg, tea, cold drink, so what are the subset of egg, tea, cold drink? Egg and tea, tea and cold drink, and egg and cold drink. These are the subset. So we will check each subset whether they are satisfying the condition that subset should be frequent. Egg and tea, is it frequent? Yes. Tea and cold drink, is it frequent? Yes. Then egg and cold drink, is it frequent? Yes. So as this all three subset of this item set are frequent, so I can say that this item set is frequent. So there is only one item set with the minimum support count 2, and so only one item set we can say from this is frequent. Okay. If we are considering, look out, if we are considering the milk tea and egg combination, if we are considering the milk tea and egg combination, so what will be the subset? Milk tea, milk egg and tea egg. Okay, so milk tea occurs over here, tea egg occurs over here, right? But milk egg combination is not present here. Milk egg is not a frequent, and that's why we can take this combination like milk tea and egg. So in such a way, if we are finding out the different combinations of these three frequent, and also we are checking for whether their subsets are frequent or not, according to this scenario we are only getting this combination, that egg, tea and cold drink, which is satisfying all the terms and condition, and therefore this is only the single item set we are getting over here with the minimum support count of 2. So this is what thing. And how the minimum support count is 2? If we are calculating here egg, tea, cold drink combination, egg, tea, cold drink occurs once and twice. If we are considering that milk, tea and egg, so no such a combination is milk, tea and egg, only one combination is there, so it is also not satisfying the minimum support count. So likewise we are only getting the single elements from this, and we are finding this as a frequent item set. So this is, we have covered one example. Now moving forward toward the next example, here the threshold is given as a 50% and the confidence is given as a 60%. So according to our minimum threshold given 50%, we can find out the minimum support count over here. This was the table is given with the 6 transaction IDs, and these are the different transactions of that respective IDs. Now if we started with the solution, so what is the support threshold is given 50%. How many transactions are there? 6. So out of 6 transactions, 50% means what? The minimum support should be a 3. The minimum support should be 3. Now moving with this minimum support value as a 3, we are moving forward and we are going to calculate it one by one. So first of all we will say the one frequent item we are going to choose, and if you are looking over here according to the one frequent item sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how many items are available there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the item sets. How many times the 1 is occurring? 1, then 2, 3 and 4. How many times 2 is occurring? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise, you have calculated the frequency count of each and every item. So we are counting here each item at a time. Okay. Next thing, that after doing this, what is the next thing we are doing over here? In the second step, we are going to find out the things that is we are going to see over here, which are satisfying the minimum support count, which is going to be satisfy the minimum support count. So by looking at this table, as our minimum support count we have calculated as a 3. So item number 1 is satisfying that, yes, it is greater than 3, greater than and equal to 3. I2 is having 5, which is greater than 3. I3 and I4 is also greater than 3, but what about I5? It is 2, which is less than 3. So this item number 5 is not satisfying that, and we need to delete that item. So in our table it should contain only the 4 items, that I1, I2, I3 and I4, because I5 is not satisfying the minimum support count. So we have discarded that item. Moving forward, now after doing this, we are going to take the combination of 2 items, right? So while doing this, we are referring the table number 3 and we are taking the combination of items, occurrences of 2 items set. So how I am going to take this from the table number 3, I1 with I2, then I1 with I3, I1 with I4, again I2 with I3, I2 with I4 and I3 with I4. Such a combinations we have chosen for table number 3, and their frequency count we are going to choose with this table number 1. So what is the frequency count? I1, I2 occurs how many times? I1 and I2 both occurs how many times? 1, I1 and I2 2, 3 and 4 times. I1 and I3 1, 2 and 3 times. I1 and I4 1, and 2 times. So likewise we are going to calculate the frequency count for the 2 frequent items. These are the 2 frequent items, and after doing this, again in the next step we are going to find out which of the items are not satisfying the minimum support count over here. So the minimum support count value is 2. So each item should have at least their count greater than or equal to 3. Sorry, it is minimum support count given in example as a 3. So it should be having item 2 frequent items, it should have their minimum support count which is greater than or equal to the 3. So 4 is satisfying that. The second I1 I3 is also satisfying that, but I1 I4 and I3 I4 is having its count as a 2 which is less than minimum support, and therefore we have to discard such items. And after discarding that, what your table contain? I1 I2, I1 I3, then I2 I3 and I2 I4. These 2 items are discarded from the table, and after that our table will be like this. With this table now we are going to find out the next thing that we are finding over here is nothing but the occurrences of that item set, and then we are again taking the grouping of the 3 frequent item. So from this table we first find out the occurrences of 3 item sets. Now we are going to find out the occurrences of 3 item sets. If we are looking over here, then I1 I2 I3 will be your first item, then I1 I2 I3 will be the first item, and I2 I3 I4 will be second item. So according to that we are going to find out that 2 subsets. Then if we are checking that I1 I2 I3, what are the subsets of that? If we are taking the combination of this 3 frequent, so what will be the combination? I1 I2 I1 I3, but I1 are repeated, so we are taking once. So I1 I2 I3 will be the combination. So what are the subsets of I1 I2 I3? I1 I2, I1 I3 and I2 I3. So whether these subsets are a frequent, that we are going to check from this table, whether that subsets are a frequent. So how we are come to know that? By looking at this table number 5, we are going to check whether I1 I2, I1 I3 and I2 I3 are a frequent. So check it. I1 I2 is frequent, yes. I1 I3 is frequent, yes. I2 I3 is frequent, yes. So as this I1, all the subsets of I1 I2 I3 are frequent, so we can see that say that the I1 I2 I3 are a frequent, and we need to choose that frequent item sets. Okay, next combination we are having that I1 I2 and I4. If you are looking this I1 I2 with I3, again it will form the I1 I2 I3. If I1 I2 I2 I4, so the combination will be like I1 I2 I4, and in that case what will be the subset? I1 I2 I1 I4 I2 I4 I1 I4. If you are checking that whether they are present, I1 I2, yes it is present. I1 I4, it is not present. So as it is not present, we can say that this I1 I2 I4 is not a frequent because its subsets are not frequent. So I1 I4 is not frequent because it is not occurring in this table number 5. If it will be frequent, then it should be present over here, but it is not there, so we can say that that is not frequent. I1 I2 I4 is not frequent, and hence we have deleted that. Okay, the next thing, so according to that we have finded out the different combinations that I1 I2 I3 that we have chosen as a frequent. Next is I1 I2 4, that is not frequent due to this I1 and I4. Next combination is I1 I3 I4. Next combination is I1 I3 and I4. So according to this next combination I1 I2 and I4, if we are checking over here that I1, what are the subsets of this I1 I3, I1 I4 and I3 I4. So I3 I4 is not present in the table, so it is not a frequent. If we are taking toward the next, what are the subset of that? I2 I3, I2 I4 and I3 I4, but the I3 I4 is not present in our table number 5, so their subsets are not frequent, and therefore these 2 item sets are also not frequent. So from this table, if you are looking over here, so which item set is a frequent? Only I1 I2 I3 is a frequent. And again, if you want to cross check it, then in this table if you are looking it, then I1 I2 I3 occurring 1, 2 and 3 times. So that's why it is satisfying the minimum support count. So you can say that yes, I1 I2 I3 is frequent. Okay. If we are finding such a thing that we have calculated the support, now if we want to calculate the confidence, so how we are going to calculate the confidence? I1 and I2, we have selected only one set, that I1, I2, I3. So what combinations we can form? If I1, I2, then I3, and in that case confidence is equal to support of A union B. A union B, this is what A, this is what B. So A union B will be I1, I2, I3. Support of A union B divided by support of A, that is support of I2 I1 and I2. So what is the support of I1, I2, I3? That is 3. We have calculated that in this table it is occurring 3 times. So support of I1, I2, I3 is 3. And what is the support of I1 and I2? If we are referring the previous table, support of I1 and I2 are 4. So 3 divided by 4 into the 100. Why the 100? Because we are calculating the support and confidence in terms of percentage, and that's why we are calculating in terms of that 100, or we are multiplying by the 100, so it will be 75%. If we are taking the another combination, that I1, I3, then I2. If you are taking I1, I3, then I2, then again confidence will be support of A union B, again support of I1, I2, I3 divided by support of A, that is I1, I3. And if we are referring in the table, the value is 3 by 3, which is 100% support. According to that, we are calculating the confidence of each and every term from this item sets, and if we are calculating the confidence of that terms, so it shows that the all above association rules that we have formed over here are strong, because the confidence given in the example with the threshold 60%. So all are satisfying that threshold of the 60%. If you are looking in the initial example, that confidence threshold is given as a 60%, and after calculating that association rules, all the confidence are equal to 60 or above the 60. So their association rules are very strong here, because they are satisfying the minimum confidence threshold of 60%. So here is example number 2, and again we are going towards the next example, that is example number 3. So here the different values are given, okay, and according to the a priori we will calculate that how many times the one frequent items occur. So item are 4, 1, 2, 3, 1 occurs 3 times, 2 occurs 6 times, 3 occurs 4 times, and 4 occurs 5 times. The minimum support count is given here, and according to their minimum support count, we have to select which items are frequent or not. So all the item sets of size 1 have a support of at least 3. So minimum support count is given as a 3. So all are satisfying the equation that minimum support count is the support count should be greater than your 3 or equal to 3. So all are satisfying. So we'll move towards the next thing. Next thing that we are taking the pair 1 with 2, 1 with 3, 1 with 4, 2 with 3, 2 with 4, 3 with 4. So these are the different pair. Again we are going to calculate what is the support count. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 are occurring 3 times. 1, 3 is occurring single time. 1, 4 is occurring twice. According to that, we have calculated against the support count. In the next thing, we are going to check. After that, we are going to check which are the satisfying your condition that of support count of 3. So if we are choosing such items, so 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 2 and 4, and 3 and 4 only selected. This 2 will get deleted. And after that we can say that 1, 3 and 1, 4 are not frequent, because they are not satisfying the minimum support count. And after that we are again taking the 3 frequent, and in the 3 frequent we are have the different combination, and according to that combinations we are going to select only 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Because that's satisfying the minimal threshold. With that minimal threshold, if you are checking the subset 2, 3, 3, 4 and 2, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4 and 2, 4. So all are present in your table, that all subsets are frequent, and that's why we can choose this 2, 3, 4 is a frequent item sets for this example. So in such a way we have seen the different examples of this a priori algorithm. The 3 example we have seen, and what we are doing exactly is that we are finding the one frequent. By after that we are satisfying the minimum support count, then we are finding the 2 frequent, then we are satisfying the minimal support count, again we are finding the 3 frequent, in that we are finding the minimal support count. With that we are also checking for the subset of that 3 frequent item set. If the subsets are frequent, then and only then that item set will be required. So in this way we have seen this topic of a priori algorithm with a different example. So today we will stop here. Thank you all of you. Thank you very much.